Breath, the vehicle of the self. Breath is the mystery. In it is hidden the secret of life. Breath proves the existence of the life unseen. Breath is audible, at the same time inaudible. Breath is visible, and at the same time invisible. It is a certain degree of activity of the breath and the capacity through which it is acting which makes the breath audible. This shows that there exists something of which we are conscious, the source of which no one knows, which is active every moment of the day, on the model of which the mechanism of nature and art is made. No one can explain whence it came into this mortal body, and no one can say whither it goes when it leaves this body of clay. One can only say that something living came and kept this mortal body alive and left it, proving that the same body, which once was thought to be alive, was not really alive, but itself was the life. This proves to the intellect, even to that void of faith, that there is some source whence life comes, and that it returns again to the same source. One's true self is part of one's being, the part of one's being which knows itself to exist, which is conscious of itself. When that self takes breath as its vehicle instead of the body, then it soars upward toward the utmost heights, toward that goal which is the source and origin of all beings. So Moshe speaks here about breath as something that is visible and invisible, audible and inaudible, which is to say that we can see and hear the effect of the breath in the body. You see the chest rise and fall. We can hear the air moving through the nostrils. That is the effect of the breath. And all too often, when we think of the breath, we think just of the effect. But what is it within this body that directs the breath, that attracts it and propels it, that makes the heart contract and expand, that makes electric pulses flow through the nervous system? What is it that underlies all of these physiological movements, that underlying life energy that holds the whole body together and animates it? And at the end of one's physical life, when it goes, leaves the body completely inert. That is the body of breath, as it's called, the pranamaya kosha. So there are different bodies. There's the physical body, which is called the annamaya kosha, which means the body of food. It's the sum of the material substance that we have taken in. But then there's something subtler that animates this body of food and directs its movement, the vital energy, and that is the body of prana. prana maya kosha. Then there's something still subtler than that, which is the mano maya kosha, the mind itself. And subtler still, vijnana maya kosha, the wisdom body. So the mind body is of the nature of the emotions, but the wisdom body represents a refinement of the emotions, a quality of discernment which remains even when the conditioned emotions subside and dissolve away. There's a pure discernment that has a greater longevity than the tumult of the mind. And what has an even greater longevity is what is called the Anandamaya Kosha, the body of bliss. And that is the pure experience of life itself in its essence, soul quality. So there are different gradations to our experience. And even when the physical body is relinquished, still the subtle breath, the energetic core of the body still endures on for a time, but ultimately it yields itself back into the mind, pure mind, mental body, which in turn will be absorbed by the wisdom body and at last the body of bliss. So ordinarily we think of breath just in terms of the effect that we see, but actually breath is the whole current that descends down from the body of bliss into the wisdom body, the body of mind, into the subtle, vital essence of our physical form, and then right into the matter and withdraws again. And that ascent is experienced in meditation and ultimately will be experienced by all souls in death.